Best of r/confessions episode 18. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. I told a kid how to masturbate when I was 15, and the guilt kills me every day. I forgot about this for quite a while, but now it's coming back to me a lot. It generally comes back when I'm applying for something and I see, do you have any unspent convictions? Recently, I've decided to study criminology and sociology at uni, and the criminology side of the course keeps reminding me of everything. Before I begin, I'd like to say that I am now 19, a changed man, and what I did was so weird of me and so unlike me, and I still don't know what exactly made me do it. Me and a friend were standing in front of the library. It was shut. This is the school library, so we were waiting outside for it to open. We were both being very goofy and making weird dark jokes that typical 15-year-olds make. A kid from year 7 stood near us to wait. For some fucking reason, I thought it would be funny to share a fucked up joke with him. The joke happened to be teaching him how to masturbate. It made my other friend die with laughter. A few weeks after, I was collected from my classroom and brought to the child safety officer. She asked me why she thinks I'm there, and I genuinely had no idea. The previous day was my birthday. I was now 16. She told me she didn't come to get me yesterday because she didn't want to ruin my birthday. That broke me. She quickly reminded me of everything and my heart sank. I hadn't realized what a fucked up thing I had done and I apologized. But this was a serious matter. Many people came to talk to me, including some of my teachers. They all acted like I was a sexual predator in the making. I can see why, but I'm genuinely not like that. I was internally excluded for a few days, and once that was over, I thought that was the end of it. A few days later, I was called to the office and the police were there. They told me that they had spoken to my mother and she agreed that I speak to the police to ensure I don't do anything like this again. Fair enough. I live in the UK BTW. In the room, they told me they just want to caution me. This won't affect any future jobs or anything, but if I were to commit a similar offense again, it would be very serious. I thought fair enough. I would want the same for safety. I am now 19. Nearly 20. I'm a very different man now. I hope to God none of this comes back to hurt me, and if it does, that I will be able to prove that I'm very different now. One of the things that I think made me do what I did is that I had similar experiences myself when I was in year 7. I would have people come up to me making sexual jokes to amuse themselves. I very wrongfully thought that this was a circle of life kind of thing and I am so sorry for thinking that. TL. Dr. I, 15M, joke to a kid, 12M, about masturbation. He reported me and I got a police caution, was told this won't affect me in the future unless I commit a similar crime. I now live in fear of this coming back to hurt me. Thank you. Next. I no longer eat sausages because I had a dream about pooping them out looking the same way I ate them. To start out, I fucking love sausages. I always get excited whenever my dad says that he's making sausages for dinner. Usually it's with some other kind of meat, this time being ribs, and rice as well. For some reason, 2 days after we had this for dinner, I had a dream where at some point in the dream I really had to go poop. When I got to the toilet, I realized that this was going to be one of those I about to destroy this toilet poops. As I started to poo, I was so sure I was about to end this toilet's whole career. I was so afraid that the toilet was going to clog from just my shit. No toilet paper was needed. When I looked in the toilet, half of it was normal poop. The other half was the sausages that I had for dinner looking exactly the same as they were on my dinner plate. It honestly looked like a normal portioned dinner plate with meat, carbs, and vegetables. But the carbs and vegetables were my shit, and the meat was the sausages. I don't remember much else from the dream, but the image of the sausages next to my poop has been burned into my mind, and now whenever I think of sausages, I get grossed out and lose my appetite. I'm actually sad about this because I used to love sausages, but now I no longer know if I will ever eat them again. IDK why I even wrote this. It had just crossed my mind as I'm actually taking a poop right now. Thank you. Next. I hate the term African American. Don't get me wrong, I love my friends of color, but I think people who refer to a black person in America as African American or a Latino as Mexican American is very stupid, unless the person being referred to has dual citizenship. That to me would be the equivalent of me saying I'm German American or someone else saying they are Jewish American. Seeing as most of us were born and raised in America, why can't we all just be Americans without indications of where our ancestors were from? If you're not a first generation American that happens to be from Africa, you are not an African American, you are just an American who happens to be of African descent. Thank you. Next. I really don't like when people with special needs try to talk to me. Look, I love people with special needs. I know it's not their fault and they deserve just as much love as the next person. But as it is, I'm already kinda an introvert and barely enjoy talking to people I don't know without special needs. When someone that is as socially disabled as someone with social needs talks to me, I just have no idea what to do or say, and I always feel like an asshole, and therefore I avoid any interaction and don't really like when they talk to me. I know they can't help it and I'm never mad at them. Obviously. Edit. Special needs, not social needs. Thank you. Next. I sold my nudes. I feel so fucking alive, RN. I know I shouldn't, but I loved it. A few things. My workplace is stressful lately and my boss is an absolute dick. I also haven't gotten laid in 8 months and the frustration can be killer, but I don't do hookups and strangers often scare me. I've felt just generally unwanted and unappreciated despite being a pretty attractive woman and a generally friendly and helpful person. A guy on my art page contacted me for a private deal for nudes and underwear pictures. For reasons I won't disclose, I was confident I could do a discreet deal without anyone knowing. We exchanged info and I sent him the pictures. I dressed up, put on my best makeup, and wore my sexiest accessories, including some leather strappy things I won't elaborate on. The payment offered was very decent too, over a $100 for just a small collection of pictures. He loved the pictures. I felt so wanted and sexy and powerful. I deposited the money at the same time as my work check and it weirdly felt like sticking it to my job in a way. Making extra money on the side, being the sexy person I know I am. It felt like a fuck you to my underpaidness, saying I knew I deserved more. I feel rebellious and like I have a sexy little secret. The pictures were amazing looking too. I feel kind of powerful, RN. The high I got from it was amazing. And now I can buy some nice things from it and not worry about wasted much needed cash for my rent. Feels good. Feels so good. I'm not telling anyone. No one has to know. Just needed that little treat of extra money and validation. He wants more pictures in the future too. I think I'll keep doing it. Thank you. Next. I have lost the desire to date, not allowing myself to have a love life for a long time. I'm in my mid-20s and I am banning myself from dating or any romantic situation with anyone. No dating or friends with benefits for me. Over the years, my biggest personal problems in life have been from dating. I've been very reflective over the last few days as to why this could be and thinking about my dating life. I'm half black, half white, and I've unintentionally dated extremely racist white men on 2 occasions. Had to dump them immediately, which honestly makes me fear of dating people outside of my race. I've been sexually and emotionally abused by men. Have been exploited and used for sex in the guise of relationships. I'm not saying I hate men, but my experience has taught me that dealing with men is more often than not toxic. I used to dream about finding the right guy, but I'm starting to think he doesn't exist. I used to think I'd be married by now, but I honestly don't even want to talk to anyone. I'm just exhausted with the dating world and feel happy to be single. Can honestly say for the first time in my life I don't want to date. I don't even want anyone to call me beautiful or talk to men. I just want to be alone. Thank you. Next. People look at me and say, "Oh, you're such an angel." Then they fuck with me and think I'm ma, let it pass. I went from being passive to passive aggressive and now you've arrived at passive aggressively fucking you up. I'm not mad. I'm just passively confessing.